Ladies and gentlemen, we did it! About 2 months ago, I dropped a video talking about how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan seemed like a platinum I would never get due to its online trophies and the online environment being basically dead. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. That's the TLDR for that video, but I ended said video saying that I would try and find players to help with the online trophies. Link in the description if you want to see that first. And I did manage to find 3 more brave souls who were willing to put their mental health and controllers through its paces. This is the tale of our epic journey to get one of the rarest platinum trophies out there. So make yourselves comfortable and join me as I share how I achieved this ultra rare 0.1% platinum trophy. Now, like any good story, I need to assemble a team of badasses to join me down this grindy road. So let me introduce you to the boys.
Daddy's home.
Brad was the first to join. He had contacted me through Reddit on one of my posts looking for players. We got to chatting how we would go about doing this, and he said he would also try and find players to help us with this expedition. A few days later, I met Mushy, aka Florida Man. He also got in contact with me through the Reddit post, and though he was over on the other side of the world, was ready and set to join this turtle brotherhood. The time difference was 6 hours, but we could make this work. Once Mushy had confirmed he was game, I rushed over to Brad on Reddit chat and told him we were now 3. But Brad was quick to correct me. We were 4. He managed to find a 4th player, Andrew. The Turtle Brotherhood was complete. All parties added on PSN, a chat group created so we could all communicate with ease, and we were ready to go. The first play session was fixed, and we turtles couldn't wait to tackle these trophies. The day came and we all logged in and started introducing ourselves. Brad and Andrew were over in the UK enjoying their tea and biscuits, and Mushy was representing Team USA, Pet Eagle on his shoulders. By this time, we all had the bare minimum trophies for this game, because this game is insanely grindy and we didn't want to go through that hell without first completing the online trophies. I mean, imagine if one of the trophies was unobtainable. We would have wasted hours of our lives for nothing. So after lengthy chat, we had decided to go for the trophy show off, where Mikey needs to be doing his finishing move, which is him dancing in the snapshot when a boss is defeated. What is a snapshot? Well, TLDR is once a boss is defeated, the game will take pictures of all the turtles in their current position. Level 1 Bebop on easy was where we would battle it out. But before even starting, there were several other trophies we had to keep in mind. We all had to choose a turtle and stick with it throughout the whole game, as there is a trophy for playing the same turtle 15 times. I of course chose Raphael. He's always been my favorite turtle, and he was the one that was going to carry me through this adventure. Mushy took the lead role as Leo, Brad would be the party dude, Mikey, and Andrew would be the brains of the operation, Donatello. Other trophies we had to keep in mind was to complete the first level without being seen, and not to touch the floor except for missions. We ran into a few problems with these last 2, as it seemed that for the not being seen trophy, only the host would unlock it, so we all had to host a game and go hide somewhere while the others completed missions. And the do not touch the ground also bugged out for one of the guys, so we had to repeat it as well. But overall, nothing too jarring. Once missions were done, it was time to face the boss Bebop and make sure Mikey is dancing in the final blow. This took some coordination, but we chiseled down Bebop's health to 1 blow. Brad and myself got into position, and at the count of 3 would initiate Mikey's dance move, as it takes 2 turtles to trigger it. Once started, Mushy and Andrew went rage mode on poor Bebop, and one of the main trophies was in the bag. This had taken around 2 to 3 hours to achieve, due to some trophies giving us problems as previously stated, and some mistiming on Bebop, but overall a very good session. We had all definitely bonded during this playtime, and friendships were starting to form. We all said our goodbyes and made plans for the next session in about a week's time. Week 2 came around and we were all raring to go. Seeing as we were gluttons for punishment, our next target would be the final boss, Shredder. The trophy, sorry not sorry. Here we all need to be dancing in the snapshot for this trophy to pop. Shredder was chosen as his level is the shortest. Now you might be saying, if all turtles need to be dancing, how do you get the final shot on Shredder? And that is a very good question. You see, in this game you can buy items from Master Splinter to help you along the level. A few of them are sentry turrets, missile launchers and manned turrets. So the plan was to buy a missile turret before the fight, get Shredder very low on health, pop Leonardo's special move which slows down time, and drop that turret and start busting a move. On our way to Shredder, we had to enter a lift and fight off waves of enemies to reach him. I took this opportunity to achieve the trophy going up. Here I needed to survive this section without taking damage, and with these boys aiding me in battle, it was super easy. I was basically running around the elevator screaming, please don't hit me. Once at the top, meters away from Shredder, it was go time. Brad was the chosen one to buy the missile turret, and he knew what needed to be done. We charged into battle and went all out on Shredder. One thing I need to mention before carrying on is that depending on difficulty, the bosses have a certain number of health bars. Easy, it is 5, normal 7, and hard 9. So once Shredder was on his last health bar, we started to pull our punches, chipping away little by little so that we don't accidentally KO Buckethead over here. And now it was time. His health bar was down to the single digits. We all spread out. Mushy initiated turtle time, aka slow mode. We all three started dancing and Brad placed the missile. But then tragedy struck. Brad started shouting over the mic that he was locked into the animation of placing the turret and could not do his dance move. Shredder was down and no trophy for our efforts. But we did learn a valuable lesson that day. The missile turret was a no-go as it locked you in an animation, so the auto turret was the way to go. Round 2 with Shredder was promising but ended in failure due to the fact that we only had one auto turret and we hadn't lowered Shredder's health enough, so back to the drawing board. Third time was a charm as we got Shredder's health as low as humanly possible. Everyone spread out again, Mushy activated turtle time, and Brad sent Shredder to the afterlife while all 4 of us danced to his demise. Seeing as we had time on our hands, we spent the rest of the session running event-specific trophies like carrying gold bars to the objective without taking a hit. Two weeks later, it was time for session number 3. We were going for the final big group trophy. Next time, take a cab. This is in level 2 where you fight Rocksteady and you have to defeat him and Bebop by letting the trains get the final blow. Now this is more complicated than it seems. In this game you have secret bosses per se. And how do you spawn a secret boss? Well, if you're giving a certain boss a good beating, the secret boss will spawn. Now, we played this level multiple times and found that the best chance of spawning Bebop was on hard, so off we went. And just to add pressure, Andrew had informed us that this was his last trophy before the platinum, but this motivated us even more. We were doing this for Andrew. However, Lady Luck was not on our side that day. During this fight, we all had to be aware of damage coming from 3 directions. The first being the trains. The area of battle was halved as trains would spawn on either side every few seconds. Once Bebop had spawned, we had to dodge constant gunfire and bombs, and by this time in the fight, Rocksteady was enraged and was charging at any and everything. Multiple times we got both of them to very low health, but the constant barrage of bombs and bullets and trains got the better of us. To make matters even worse, if you got game over and decided to continue from where we left off, Bebop would not spawn again. So after 3 hours of hitting our head against the wall, we called it a night. A few miscellaneous trophies were unlocked along the way, but Andrew's platinum would have to wait for another day. Week 4 had come around, and with my Monster Energy in drink, we went into Rocksteady ready to introduce him to an arsenal of pain. Several times we almost had them, but somehow they would KO us first. Then it finally happened. We had both Rocksteady and Bebop on low health. All of us spread out to lure them onto the train tracks. Getting them low on health was the easy part. The hard part was getting these fools to go onto the tracks so that they could meet their makers. Rocksteady was the first to fall. His constant charging had landed him on the tracks, where he was greeted by 400 tons of speeding metal. Now we just needed Bebop to teleport himself onto the tracks. Again, we were all spread out, dodging everything Miss Piggy here could throw at us. However, I made a terrible mistake. I had not seen one of his bombs. It launched me in the air straight into a moving train, KOing me instantly. I told everyone to forget about me and stay alive. While I was in the KO room, I started eating pizza like there was no tomorrow so I could rejoin the fight as soon as possible. But there was no need. Bebop had wandered onto the nearby train tracks and 2 was sent flying. We had done it. Platinum for Andrew and all the major trophies were under our belt. Believe me when I say we were all shouting down the mic in celebration. We were all ecstatic because what seemed impossible over a month ago was now becoming a reality. The Platinum Trophy was in reach. We all signed off that night, very pleased with ourselves. I remember explaining to my wife how close we had cut it with a giant smile across my face. But now came the part of our journey where we all had to go our separate ways. It was grind time. Several trophies were mission specific, and said missions fell prey to RNG. And although we all had to face these battles alone, we were never truly alone. Almost every day we would update each other on our progress, giving tips and moral and mental support. And trust me, we needed it. The first trophy I would go for was to complete the game on hard. Seeing we had played the first 2 levels on hard, I played the remaining 9 by myself and nothing too complicated. Shredder, the final boss, did put up some resistance at first, but I noticed that if I attacked him from behind, he wouldn't touch me. Plus, I would unload all 3 turrets on him. 3 or 4 tries later, hard mode and trophy were complete. I then set my eyes on transporting 30 gold bars. These had a decent spawn rate in level 2, and with notepad in hand, I started keeping track of how many I did. Again, no joke, I don't know if you can see it, but here is me marking down all the times I did the missions. As this game has no in-game tracking for any of these missions. Also, all the guys were playing the level to completion when they got the mission. I, however, was following the tactic on PSN profiles. Complete the mission, start the next mission, and then quit the game. The other guys weren't too confident that this would work, so I decided to take one for the team and try it out. And I'm happy to report that it did work. The amount of time I would save doing this method for the rest of the trophies would be invaluable. This trophy alone took me about 4 to 5 days to complete. I was jamming 2 to 3 hours a day, so do the math on that spawn rate. Next, I would move on to transporting 2 types of bombs to their portals. 30 crank bombs for Ultron Buster and 10 chemical weapons for Detoxicator. Stage 6 would be where I would farm this, and here as well they both had decent spawn rates. Again, the method was starting the game. If the mission I wanted wasn't the first one, I would quit game and load back in again. Tedious? Yes. Mentally draining? Also yes. Hotel? Trivago. The good thing about the Krang bombs was that each mission spawned 2 bombs, so I really only needed to do it 15 times, and so I grinded 5 missions each day so not to burn myself out, and once 15 missions were complete, no trophy had popped. You can imagine the panic that was starting to overtake my body. Was the method not valid on this trophy? It worked for the chemical weapons trophy, why not here? I had no choice but to continue with the grind. Maybe I had marked my progress incorrectly. After a while loading and quitting games, the mission finally spawned. I was a master at this by now. I could finish this mission in mere seconds given the AI was up to task, as you need 2 turtles to be able to carry the bomb. And once the final bomb was teleported, the trophy popped. I began to breathe more easily now. The method was still valid, and I set my sights on the last trophies, all of which could be achieved in level 1. I would finish everything where it all began. Level 1 Bebop would be the battleground for the final trophies. I used my time in here to round up all collectibles, protect a pizza van 10 times, and a few other trophies that were still outstanding. By this time Brad had obtained the platinum. I was a bit jealous, as I hoped that it would have been me, but we all congratulated him on the platinum and he thanked us for helping him along the way. I was just 2 trophies away from the platinum myself, so close I could smell it. The trophies in question: defend 30 ATMs and transport 30 bags of money. Now for the ATMs, one mission would spawn 3 ATMs to protect, so I would only need to complete this 10 times. Same for the money bags. That mission would spawn 2 bags, so only 15 missions would be needed for completion. RNG was kind to me this day. About 4 hours of grinding, I had managed to do 5 ATMs and 4 money bags. Now the problem with level 1 is the following. It is the only level where ATMs will spawn, and pretty much every mission type can be found in this level, meaning it is incredibly hard for these missions to spawn thanks to the randomness of the RNG. Plus only 3 missions would spawn per level, so that lowered the percentage even lower. Here things started to take a turn for the worst. After 4 hours of grinding, I had little to show for it. 1 ATM and just 3 money bag missions. I was ticked off, to say the least. After such a good start, my luck had nosedived into a sewer. However, I was hopeful that day 3 would be the day I achieved the platinum, as I would literally have the whole day to myself and would be able to grind this out for several hours. With a case of cold beer in the fridge and a dream, nice. I set off to put an end to this grind. The hours started flying by and the cans of beer were mounting up, and after 9 hours of grinding, I had almost nothing to show for it. RNG was being a cruel mistress and was going against me every step of the way. After all those hours, I had only managed to unlock the Moneybags trophy and only completed 1 ATM mission. My frustration was rising and my hope fleeting. I went to the chat to vent and ask for guidance. Mushi then informed me that he would get more variety of events when he played on normal difficulty, so I thanked him and would try this technique tomorrow. By my calculations, I had completed 6 ATMs, so only 4 more were needed. I only had a few hours a day to jam, so I got right into it. It seemed that Mushi was right. Playing this way definitely improved the odds of the ATM spawning, and in no time I was on my 4th ATM of the day. This was it. I was a mere few minutes away from the platinum. 60 hours of grinding would finally be at an end. And when that 4th and final event was complete, no trophy had popped.
That you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get in.
I was devastated, to say the least. Could it be that I miscalculated the times I had completed this mission? Surely not again. But I was out of time and would have to continue tomorrow. RNG started heavily against me. An hour in and no ATMs were spawning. I just needed one, goddammit. Please, RNG Jesus, let this torment be over. 2 hours. 3 hours. 4 hours. And by the 5th hour, I called it a day. Not one ATM mission had spawned. Day 6, I had my grinding sessions planned for the morning and for the evening, if RNG didn't go my way. After a few minutes, there it was, an ATM mission. This surely had to be it. Heart pounding, I speed ran those ATMs, and at the end, still no platinum had popped.
Oh, come on!
Oh my god, I yelled. How many more are needed, for fuck's sakes? And so I continued my grind. I couldn't give up now. Shortly after, another ATM mission popped. And after finishing it, no platinum trophy. This can't be right, I thought to myself. I've done 14 of these missions, no? Why isn't this popping? Could the PSN method actually not work on this trophy? Would I actually have to start from scratch and try and find 10 more ATM missions and still then complete the level? How many more hours would this take? I scanned the forums and videos of this game looking for answers, and I remember seeing a comment where they said that they actually had to do more than 10 missions for the trophy to pop. So with me clinging on that, I soldiered forward. Not long, ATM number 3 of the day had spawned. This has to be it, I kept thinking to myself. And once completed, still no platinum. How I didn't throw my controller out the window, I don't know. The feeling of defeat had overtaken me, and I didn't have the will to go on. I was really starting to burn out now. Even more when Mushi posted in the group that he too had achieved the platinum. I was the only one left, so I decided to take a break and try later on in the evening. Evening came and I sat at my desk preparing for the grind like it was my 9 to 5. Start game, quit game. Start game, quit game. April's opening dialogue burned into my brain. I was zoned out, brain dead to what was happening on the screen. And then it happened. ATM mission. Number 15 by my calculations. I rushed to the battles, holding on to hope that this would be it, but also trying not to get my hopes too up, just in case I was met with nothing at the end. 3 ATMs protected later. I had done it. 71 hours of grinding finally coming to an end. I let out the biggest sigh of relief and sent the screenshot to the chat informing them that it had finally been done and thanking them for their help. And I can't thank them enough. Brad, Andrew, Mushi, this is my proudest platinum I have achieved, and I have you guys to thank for it. You guys made this platinum bearable, enjoyable, and awesome to obtain. Without you guys, this would have been a soul-destroying platinum that never in a million years I would have completed. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I wish I could frame this platinum. Ultra rare 0.1%. Only 568 people in the world have this. This has been one hell of a journey. If you've made it this far, you're definitely a Chad. Thanks for watching. What is your proudest platinum, or what is your rarest platinum? Let me know down below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. And this is PTR signing off.